Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. This is of a patient who attended not reporting any loss of hearing, but instead a sensation of a blocked ear or a fullness, a heaviness inside their ear. And as you could see when we examined the ear, there was a good view of the patient's eardrum. That was not in any way obstructed or occluded in any with the wax or the dead skin. Now, what this patient has is a buildup of dead skin and earwax at the base of the ear canal. And the reason for that is once I've removed this plug of thickened dead skin and wax, you'll see that this patient's got quite a bumpy ear canal. More specifically, they've got two dips, quite significant dips and widenings at the base of the ear canal. And that's preventing the skin from migrating out of the ear. So the ear canal is lined with a layer of skin. The skin that lines the inner two-thirds of the ear canal, so the bony region, is less than 0.1 millimeters in thickness. And it's a very thin layer of epithelial skin. So that's the outer layer of skin. There's no dermis there. And that's attached directly to the bone. There's no cartilage or fatty tissue in between. So that skin is very, very delicate. And that skin also lines the outer layer of the eardrum. On the outer third, the cartilaginous portion, the skin's a lot thicker. There's about 1 millimeters in thickness. So, but as the skin dies and sheds from the eardrum, it should move sideways, almost like a conveyor belt, and eventually coming out the ear. And the rate of that migration is around, it varies from individual to individual, but the range is, I would say, 1.5 millimeters to 3 millimeters a month. It's similar in growth and migration rate to the dead keratin, so our fingernails. So that's also keratin. And as the skin migrates out of the ear, it also transports any wax sitting on its surface out of the ear. So that skin's very important and that it migrates. And when it doesn't migrate, two things happen. The skin collects in the ear canal and it builds up and it gets embedded. It almost becomes part of the ear canal, like a fixture and fitting of the ear canal. It's very hard to remove. And also it prevents the wax buildup. So if the skin doesn't migrate, you get a bit of wax buildup as well. And unfortunately, because of this widenings and abnormalities at the base of the ear canal, that's just the cause of this buildup. Now, you could say that this is somewhat Keratosis obturans, very early stages, because that's what kind of happens with Keratosis obturans. The skin fails to migrate, it builds up in a plug. But with Keratosis obturans, it's more medial. It's typically in the inner two-thirds, where there is a buildup of dead skin in the inner two-thirds of this patient as well, but also on the cartilaginous portion. Now, this eventually did come out in one single piece, and I'm just using these, I've used obviously suction and a hook, a Jobson horn. I'm just trying to get the tip of the jaw deep into this wax plug at the bottom. You can see that fresher layer of dead skin. So the skin that's furthest away from the ear canal, you can see that's darker, so the surface there is kind of a dark brown. And the skin that's closest to the eardrum, so that's a fresher layer of skin, that's more white in appearance. So you can tell by the colour of the dead skin for how long it's been there, it oxidizes. So the darker the skin, the more it's oxidized, and the darker it comes in appearance. But even with the forceps, it's quite tricky removing this. It's really embedded. So I'm just using a Jobson horn now. I'm just trying a different angle of attack. So I'm going to the back part of the ear canal, the posterior canal wall. I'm trying to get in and behind and lift it away. And you can see I have somewhat separated it there. Now, I'm just going to be careful when I insert this Jobson horn, because if I make contact with that canal wall, it's going to be very uncomfortable for the patient. And I think it was at this stage where I'm getting an appreciation of just how significant this widening and this dip is of the patient's ear canal. It's right near the entrance. So I'm just going back in with the forceps now that I've elevated it and retracted the skin plug and wax plug away from the canal wall. And I've now got a good grip. This plug has been detached from the canal wall somewhat, so it's easier to extract now. So just going back in, and I'm holding the forceps more horizontally. So as opposed to the top jaw being at 12 o'clock and the bottom jaw being at 6 o'clock, the top jaw is now at 9 o'clock and the bottom jaw at 3 o'clock. And it's just giving me a grip, bit of purchase. You can see that fresh layer of dead skin that's lining the base of that plug. And these are the two widenings. I'm just going to freeze this. So you got widening one there, just that's on the probably just where the cartilage meets the bony part. So you've got these ridges, and the second part's a bit deeper. Now, it's a bit sore there, but deeper on when we remove this skin. You can get blistering when we remove dead skin. There's that plug, and I've just put the forceps there but side by side as a means of comparison. And you can see it's quite a sizable chunk there. And immediately the patient felt significantly better. They felt that pressure, that fullness had gone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care and speak soon.